She walked along the dusty road with tired feet and a heart that carried more weight than her frail body could handle. Her clothes were torn, her face smudged with dust, and her eyes reflected both hunger and desperation. She had not eaten properly in days, and all she wanted was a chance to work, a chance to earn an honest living that would allow her to survive. Every door she knocked on seemed to close before she could even explain her plight. Some people ignored her, some turned their faces away, and others dismissed her with harsh words. She was invisible in a world that only valued wealth, beauty, and comfort. But fate has a strange way of weaving stories. That afternoon, as the scorching sun dipped low behind the endless fields, she reached the gate of a large ranch. The wooden sign read the name of the rancher who owned acres of land, cattle, and wealth that stretched beyond imagination. It was said that this man was powerful, respected, and stern, a man who had lost his wife years ago and was left to raise his 2 young daughters alone. People spoke of him as someone who demanded hard work and loyalty, someone who would never show weakness. Yet, life had also left scars in his heart, ones that no amount of money or land could heal. She hesitated at the gate, clutching her thin shawl tightly around her shoulders, trying to summon courage. What if he rejected her too? What if he mocked her rags and turned her away like the others? But hunger pushed her forward. Desperation whispered that she had nothing left to lose. She walked into the ranch, her feet trembling on the gravel, and when she finally came face to face with the rancher, she lowered her gaze and said in a trembling voice, "I beg you, sir, give me work. I can clean, cook, take care of the animals, anything you ask. I have no family, no home, no one to depend on. All I need is a chance." The rancher studied her quietly. His piercing eyes softened for a brief moment as he noticed the dirt smudges on her cheeks, the worn-out shoes that barely held together, and the hands that were scarred from years of struggle. He could tell she was not lying. She was a woman who had known suffering, a woman who stood at the crossroads of despair and hope. But what caught his attention most was not her words, but the honesty in her eyes, a truth that seemed rare in a world full of masks. For a long moment, he said nothing. She thought he was about to refuse her, and tears welled up in her eyes. She turned slightly, ready to leave, when his voice finally broke the silence. "I don't need a worker," he said slowly, "but I need something far more important." She looked at him, confused, wondering what he meant. He continued, "My girls have lived without a mother's love for years. They need someone who can guide them, care for them, and love them as their own. And I ask you, will you be the mother my girls need?" The words struck her like lightning. Her lips parted in disbelief. She had expected rejection, harshness, or at best a small job cleaning stables. But never in her life did she imagine that a wealthy rancher would look at her, a woman in rags, homeless and broken, and see the possibility of family. She stammered, I am not worthy. Look at me, I have nothing. I don't even have decent clothes. How could I be a mother to your daughters?" The rancher's eyes softened further. "Worthiness is not measured by clothes or wealth," he said firmly. "My daughters don't need a woman dressed in silk, they need someone with a heart. And I can see yours, even if the world has overlooked it." Her tears spilled freely, tears of disbelief and gratitude. Could this truly be happening? For years she had been wandering in search of acceptance. For years she had lived unseen, unheard, unloved. And now, this man was offering her not just work, but a family, a place where she belonged. When she met the rancher's daughters for the first time, she was nervous. She feared they would not accept her, that they would mock her rags and reject her presence. But children, unlike adults, have a gift of seeing the truth in people. The moment the girls looked into her kind eyes, they felt something they had been missing all along. One of them ran forward and hugged her tightly, whispering, "I always wanted a mama who would tuck me in at night." That simple embrace melted her fears. For the first time in years, she felt warmth spreading through her heart. It was not about riches or appearances, it was about love, and she had more of that to give than she ever realized. The days at the ranch slowly transformed her. She woke up early, helping in the kitchen, caring for the house, and spending time with the girls. She braided their hair, told them stories, helped them with lessons, and wiped their tears when they missed their late mother. The girls, in turn, filled her life with laughter, with innocent questions, with joy she thought she would never know. The rancher often watched from afar, noticing how his daughters bloomed under her care. He saw the way they laughed more freely, how their eyes sparkled with happiness, and how the house no longer felt empty. For years he had carried the burden of raising them alone, but now he found peace in sharing that responsibility with a woman whose heart was big enough to love them as her own. In time, the rancher and the woman grew closer. What started as a desperate plea for work had turned into a bond stronger than either of them expected. They shared stories of their pasts, their struggles, their hopes. She confessed how she had lost everything and wandered from place to place in search of dignity. He shared how losing his wife had hardened him, how he feared his daughters would grow up without knowing a mother's love. Slowly, trust built between them, and respect blossomed into something deeper. But the world is not always kind. Neighbors whispered about her, questioning why a wealthy man would bring a poor woman into his home. Some accused her of being a gold digger, while others mocked her ragged past. Yet the rancher stood by her side, unshaken by their words. He knew the truth, and so did his daughters. To them, she was not a stranger in rags, she was family. Over time, even the neighbors began to see the change. They saw how the ranch thrived with her presence, how the girls flourished, and how the rancher himself seemed lighter, happier. Slowly, the whispers faded, replaced by respect for the woman who had once been overlooked, but had proven her worth through love and dedication. One evening, as the sun set in golden hues across the endless fields, the rancher stood with her on the porch. His daughters played nearby, their laughter filling the air. He looked at her and said softly, "You came to me begging for work, but what you gave us is far greater. You gave my daughters a mother and gave me back my hope." Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were tears of happiness. She realized that life had finally answered her silent prayers. She had not only found shelter and food, but she had found love, family, and a place where she truly belonged. Her journey from rags to acceptance, from rejection to belonging, was not about wealth or status. It was about the richness of the heart, the unseen strength of kindness, and the way love can heal even the deepest wounds. She no longer felt invisible, because in the eyes of two little girls and a man who saw her true worth, she was more than enough. And so, the woman who once begged for work in rags became the heart of a family, the soul of a home, and the mother two little girls desperately needed. Life had finally shown her that sometimes, in the most unexpected ways, miracles do happen. If you love this story and want to hear more inspiring tales like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up, and press the bell icon so you never miss another story that touches the heart.